What's up, guys? Welcome to a very, very special collaboration. My name is Sherm, and I'm the host of Sherm in the Booth. And we're here featuring some big artists on the rise right now. They've got a release coming on Hood Politics, Dissolut, Luis and Soren. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Hi, perfectly fine, yeah.
No, I made these guys get a beer so I didn't have to drink alone. Let's cheers again one more time, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. You know what? When it comes down to it, like, pandemic sucks, man, but we still get to hang out with each other and drink beer, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Online.
Yeah.
A lot easier to hear each other on Zoom in our own homes than it is at the club, too.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's one of the reasons I started this podcast like over 4 years ago. I grew up in Indiana, and I wanted to keep DJing. I started DJing in college, and it was so hard to go places by myself as like this guy that's trying to get into the scene and like talk to the DJ. And I'm like, hey man, I'm Matt, nice to meet you. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, how did we get backstage? And I was like, I can't grow my network here unless I can talk to these guys separately. So I was like, okay, I already wanted to do a podcast. What if the podcast is interview based and I just talk to people in the music industry?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, definitely, yeah.
Thank you, man. I mean, that's why we're here now. That's why DJ Susan wanted to link up, man. I got so much love and respect for everybody at Hood Politics, and I got a lot of respect for you guys, man. Like I said before we started,
thank you.
Ran through. I mean, honestly, I ended up having a tech house day yesterday because of you guys.
Oh, nice.
I try. It's been a lot different of a listening year for all of us when it comes to like what are we actually putting on in our homes. It's because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if I hear a good kick, I just got to get up. I'm like, when are we going to the club, man? I've got to hear this shit. So I try and go slow. But I ran through everything yesterday, guys. Incredible discography, so much success. You guys are blowing up, and it's really is perfect timing for where you guys are at and where Hood Politics is. I think you guys are meeting at this beautiful, beautiful crossroads. So congratulations to you guys on all your success so far, for real.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, of course.
It's really appreciated.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I can just talk you up right now if you want to do that. I can just keep telling you how great you are. If you're having a bad day, give me a call. No problem.
Keep going.
All right, fine. All right. But like I said, so on my podcast, I try and get people's full story. We're a little short on time here, but I still do want to ask kind of the beginning stages. Where are you guys both originally from? When did you come together? When did music come into your lives? And we'll start with Soren.
Right.
Yeah, I think I started DJing with around 18. I'm now 28, or I'm getting 28 in March. And I think I bought a small controller to just play some after parties with friends or before we went to the club or something like that.
Sure.
And I felt like I have to go for music production somehow, and then I started to throw samples into Ableton and try to make beats out of it. And I struggled hard in the beginning, like almost everyone, I think. And then I think 4 years ago I met Louis. We worked in the same
Somewhere
bar.
around that,
I think it was a Christmas party or something like that. And he told me he's also DJing, and we were hosting a party here in Mannheim, and I offered him to play the warm-up because I know it was hard to get connected, like you said. And
that's exactly. There you go. We got a good guy.
And I thought he would be happy, even if it's the warm-up. But for the beginning, it's cool to play the warm-up. Just play on a sound system in a club. So
absolutely.
Basically that was our first connection.
Yeah.
So you were
that was actually
first?
Sorry.
Yeah, DJing. I was I think I'm a bit older than him, so I was DJing for 2 or 3 years, something like that.
I started as a DJ too, so I know what you mean. You're like, okay, I got the DJing down, and now I want to play my own music, right?
That's the start, I think.
Awesome. What about you, Luis?
Actually, I met Serene earlier, but I think he gladly forgets about that.
It was a Christmas party, man. He was drunk.
No, we actually met at the birthday party of a mutual friend. And back then, I didn't know him at all. And I was at a birthday party of a friend, and his older brother was friends with Serene, and he came into the party with Serene. and I was at the sound system just randomly picking tunes from YouTube just for the underlying sound of the party. And then Serene came by and talked to me, and then he said, "Ah, you're DJing too? Okay, cool, yeah. What do you play with?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I have a small controller at home. I'm feeling myself with that controller." And he was like, "Ah, you have to forget that, man. You need to play vinyl. That's the only real thing."
Are you kidding me?
And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Okay, vinyl, okay." Then the next day I looked at the price and I was like, man, I'm staying with that controller.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, years later we actually met at the bar where we worked at, and then yeah, I asked Serene if he knew some parties, because even here it's really hard to get connected to the party scene. So he offered me to play the warm up, and that was actually my first ever gig in a club, playing tech house music. Yeah, so he got me basically started. So yeah,
It's foundation of a good friendship, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Was it on CDJs? Were you so nervous?
Yeah, definitely. I was really nervous. And actually, I think that night for the warm up, there were only 2 friends for me. But then the party came to rise, where it was just. But even just with the 2 friends of mine staying in front of me, it was just okay. I need to play the play button, but then everything went fine. Yeah. I was just so nervous.
Well, I'm glad I brought that story out of you, because we all go through those experiences.
Yeah, definitely.
Days, right? You have to. It shouldn't be served you on a silver platter.
Yeah, definitely.
The vinyl DJ over here, huh?
Oh yeah, it was just a year. It was just a year because it was underground. It was cool. So
it was just
I had to jump on that hype, and I was like, okay, only vinyl. And then a year later, I was like, fuck it. Okay, I just want my USB stick back, and I'm CDJs and fuck vinyl. I will sell everything. I don't want to judge vinyl at all. It's cool, no question, but not for me.
Yeah. I understand.
It's a different art form. I think it's just a different art form of playing CDJs. So
yeah, and you see
massive respect to all.
Oh, absolutely, and it's very difficult to do. Like, there are a lot of vinyl DJs here in Chicago that are, I don't want to say, elitist about it, so to speak, but they're a little stubborn when they're like, oh, like, I only use vinyl. And I'm like, all right, like, I'm going to watch you. I'm going to see how you do it.
Yeah.
Dude, they're busy, man. Like, beat matching, monitoring the tempo, like putting the needle down, and then they like searching through the records. Meanwhile, I'm over here with the CDJ fucking drinking a beer, talking to my friend. If I'm a little late, hit the sync button. We're good. Flip the volume.
That's it.
We do respect the art, though. We do respect the art.
Yeah.
So where are you guys in Germany right now, then? Mannheim, you said?
Yeah, close to Frankfurt, Heidelberg. So in the south, in the south of Germany.
Wow. So it's interesting because obviously, if you just think about it from a global perspective, Germany, Berlin, it's really a hub for techno.
Yeah.
You guys, and we'll get into your process here. There's certainly techno influences. But you guys are definitely more on the house side of things.
Yeah.
When did that transition happen for you guys when you started producing together? Were you like just making techno beats and then it kind of evolved? Or what is it like for you guys in that scene there?
Yeah, I think, well, I started making kind of minimal stuff, like underground, like I was playing vinyl and this Romanian techno stuff. So I started producing this kind of music. And but I think for both of us we wanted to make music like for the peak time of a party, like put your hands up thing. And and this minimal thing is like there's a beat, and after minutes a bass drops in and everyone is, oh yeah, crazy. And I was like, that can't be the peak of the party. Like, so we kind of said we want something which is more engaging, and we weren't the type for the Berlin techno stuff. We got an insane big scene for the techno thing, but that's not what we really feel somehow. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I feel the same. I actually came from a different scene. I was heavily involved when I started DJing. I was heavily involved with drum and bass, dubstep, and like that EDM-ish kind form of bass house.
Bass.
So
Love
there was
bass.
yeah. I was coming from a completely different direction. So
yeah,
that was. So that was, I think, the perfect match for both of us, because Serene was coming from that lower form of house, if you want to say, and I was coming from this high energy, high bass, pump and bass form of house. So I think that was the perfect match then and there. So yeah.
It all starting to make sense. Did you guys like originally, like, you guys obviously don't live together. When you produce, you produce remotely, send back stems to each other? Do you prefer working together, or what's it like in the studio for you?
Yeah, basically we both work on ideas, and then we just share them back and forth and work on them separately. And then when we get in the studio, we want to like really just finalize the track. So we have some ideas bouncing back and forth, and then we'll just finalize it together.
Yeah, that's basically it.
I love that. It's how it works these days sometimes, right? And I actually there's a DJ duo here. They're twin brothers, right? And you'd expect these guys to live together, work together, do everything together. They're like totally different people, and they almost can't work together in the same studio, right? And it's funny how it works with you guys, at least coming from different influences. I think it's great that you can work together. I have to work with other producers. I like the stems and stuff like that, but that's a really interesting dynamic that you guys have, the ability to do both.
Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah,
I think, but that was our I think that was our strength, because even if when we started out, we tried to pursue so many different styles of music and incorporate that into our sound. So we jumped a lot between genres, for example, more on the piano side, on the mainstreamish side, and jump back to like more like underground YB tracks, back to peak time tracks. I think that was like just the development of our sound, which actually really helped us going back and forth with these genres.
Love that. Very cool. And I mean, again, it's really interesting just looking through and listening through your guys' discography here. Like I said, I counted, and there's probably more on SoundCloud, on your private page or whatever, maybe alter ego. You guys have been doing this for a little while. You've had over 40 releases, likely double the amount of singles on these EPs. That's pretty impressive, guys. So you certainly have a flow. You certainly work well together. Like I said, you've had releases on some of the biggest electronic labels in the game. So snaps real quick. Take a big drink of my beer. I'm in the presence of greatness. I'm going to list off some of my favorites here, and I want to ask you about a few that I think are kind of going to lead to this Hood Politics release in my eyes. And correct me if I'm wrong at any point.
Yeah, sure.
So Sola, Realm, Get Twisted, District 9, Armada Deep, Ferris Wheel, Slightly Civil, Rawsome, Tool Room. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, guys. So I want to start with your solo release, Solardo. Now, I actually have had the pleasure of meeting these guys on Holy Ship before. I don't know if you've ever met Mark and James in person.
No.
Not really. We actually were in the room when someone had a FaceTime chat with Mark, I think.
Yeah.
But we haven't had the chance to talk to them personally both. So yeah.
Well, they're extremely energetic guys. They are so much fun. They're probably some of my favorite producers, and Sola is top 3 favorite label for me. I think they really push the boundaries of house and techno and melodic and minimal.
Definitely.
They do it all, right? But it's kind of not like a will release anything. There's definitely an echelon here, and that's what I heard in Impulsive with Versus. And I want to ask, before we talk about this track, who's Versus? Because you guys have had a few collaborations with them.
Yeah.
Who's going to do a better job delivering Versus?
Basically when we worked with Versus, they were 2 guys from Manchester. And we actually got to know them because we sent them some tunes, because they asked in their Instagram story, they asked for promos to play out, and we sent them a bunch of tracks. And then they came back like 20 minutes later, like, every of these tracks are bangers. We will play all of these. And they asked us where we came from, and we said Germany. And then they said, "Oh, cool, we'll play in Hamburg, which is like close to Berlin, so in a complete different direction than where we live."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, is that close to where you live?" And we were like, "Well, kinda, but not really."
Not really, no.
It's a 6-hour drive, but yeah, we could make it. And then they said, "Yeah, well, come over. We'll play there next on the next weekend." And then we drove over to Hamburg and met them personally. And it's David. Well, then they were David and Luke. And yeah, we just clicked, and then we saw the chance and made a few tracks together. And then we met them in Manchester again. And yeah, that was basically the story.
That's a lot of talent in one room.
Yeah.
I like the commitment though, guys. Seriously, you kind of got to do that, and in-person connection is so important as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's the best thing you can have. Yeah.
You guys, have you found in your experience so far? Obviously, you met each other through music. Do you find that you can develop relationships much more quickly with other DJs and producers or people in the music industry because we all have this common understanding? The foundation of what we're trying to do is based on the love of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely helps. It's still a personal thing if you click with the person or not. Sure. But definitely it's definitely a way to start a conversation and get into knowing the person. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys collaborated with them because Impulsive is dope. I saw the videos of them playing it, man. it's like so cool. It's so cool. I'm sure it was unbelievable for you guys to see. I mean, you've got the big underlying bass line here. Great job on the percussion. I'm a big believer in the differentiator in house music is the percussion. You know, we can all kind of make a 3/4 MIDI bass line, right? And there's creativity in that. But if you really want to stand out, I think it's percussion. And you guys really snapped. How was it though for you guys, like having a release on Sola, having them play it, getting supported? What was that like for you guys?
It was unreal. I think it was the first bigger release for us. Or it was also one of our dream labels because when we started making music, I think they founded Sola, or I think they just had their first releases, and it was for us like, oh my god, one day a release on Sola, that would be unreal. I think it took us 1 year later and we signed the contract. I think Lewis bought a bottle of champagne and we got drunk. It wasn't such a real big deal, but for us it was an insane big deal. So we were super happy, super hyped, and seeing Solado, one of our role models, playing our tune was crazy.
Yeah, it felt like it was the next step in if you want to put it that way. It was I think also the first like big DJ support that we got on a track, and then they picked it up right away. Yeah, so it was definitely a step in our career that was major. So that was insane. Even when we got the video of them playing it, I was like shaking, looking at it like 10 times in a row, and I was like, okay, man, this is insane.
Dude, and you know they love it. It's one thing for DJs to play your song, right? Like in a radio show in a mix, and all credits to people who get support through that. But when you see them fucking play it at a massive show and they're going like this, and people in the crowd are like, whoa, what is this track, right?
Then you made it.
Nothing better.
It's really crazy.
That's awesome, guys. Congratulations to you again on that. I mean, it really is.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And I love I don't know if you were inspired by Green Velvet or Gene Ferris, but you certainly had some nice like tech house vocals in there. Really liked that too. It blended really well with the percussion. So overall, texture of the track, framework, like perfect job. Loved it.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm just here to compliment. Maybe I'll talk shit. You guys need bad music, but I couldn't find anything. I was looking for flaws. You guys are fucking cool. God damn it. All right. On to the next one. This one, obviously, I would say really it's same tier. Different tier in house just because Realm by Gorgon City. Gorgon City is one of the most well-known and well-recognized radio-friendly electronic groups, right? But
yeah, definitely.
These guys are underground house DJs when it really comes down to it, right?
Yeah.
One of them actually, Kai, he lives in Chicago now. And they were doing short shows here in Chicago all the time. They'd play their live shows and stuff, absolutely fantastic, live singers, the whole shebang. But when they play house shows and DJ sets and they're just dropping like tech house bangers like one after another and seeing the reactions to that, I kind of got like the Solardo vibe. So seeing obviously in the music they release on Realm, it's not exactly imagination. You know what I mean? Like this label is almost like, in my eyes, and I hope to ask them this one day, kind of like their guilty pleasures. It's songs that they want to play in their set.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
2019, you guys had two releases on Realm. Get Naked and the Lick It EP. Both very, very successful tracks in regards to streaming, in regards to Beatport sales, DJ sales. I don't know exactly how Impulsive did, but from my eyes, at least the chair I'm sitting in, this one was kind of a, you know, a stamp of approval for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Hat off to you again. Now, what I want to ask you about, guys, is like sometimes it can, in tech house, like I said, it can be tough to be unique. There's so many talented people out there.
Yeah.
But it's clear you guys have found some loopholes in being unique. When you produce tracks like this, what sort of things are you trying to do to be special, to get on Sola, to get on Realm? Are you consciously thinking that, or is it just happening?
Ah, that's a good question.
Oh yeah, it is. Go on.
Thing is,
Really
I think there's no magic trick or anything. We had bad experience to produce tracks with a label in mind. Like if we try to focus on a certain label and try to listen to the tracks they released and do something similar, it can be inspiring, but I think the problem is you limit your creativity in a certain way. So in most of the time we sit down in studio and start ideas completely random. Sometimes it's more progressive stuff, sometimes it's more tech house and more underground acid, bass house, whatever. And then we pick the best ideas or the best idea we both like, and then try to finalize it and try to make it as cool as possible. And then that's it, made somehow. So sometimes we got like 10 different new demos, new tracks, and we can't stick them together to an EP because it doesn't fit at all. So it sometimes it's cool, but sometimes it's super annoying. But I think this is our, it's not a secret, but for us, it's the best way to just let your creativity, or if you're inspired by this track and you want to do something similar, or you listen to an old school track or whatever, and just nail down the idea and try to make the best out of it.
Love that. What about you, Lewis?
100%. Yeah, I think like Serena said, it's always, if you really try to be creative in this creative process, it is always problematic to narrow down something you want to be creative with. So just being free with your ideas, with the blank canvas, if you will, really helps. But also, as we started, we also try to rebuild tracks of artists that we like, just to get that like a pattern of building songs and everything into our minds. So that was actually really helpful when we started out. So if you want to nail down this, the art of building a track from start to finish, it's always helpful to build it with a reference. But if you want to be creative, don't try to do something like someone else. That's basically it from my side. Yeah.
I mean, like it was kind of a big question, right? And it's like, how do you be unique? Yeah. And I think to sum it up there, you guys are just kind of yourself. You're inspired by different things. You go into the studio feeling a different way. I mean, you don't wake up every day feeling the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it.
It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're the president of the United States. I don't care if you're living in a third world country. We all have our good days. We all have our bad days. And I think when that comes to music production, the fact that you guys can even translate inspirations and ideas into a audio workspace is special in and of itself. Love that. Great tracks though, guys. Congratulations on a massive release. I hope we've got some more coming in 2021.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm not here to reveal secrets, but I had a feeling. Those motherfuckers pick up 2 tracks in 1 year. They're asking for more. Love it. So this one I really want to ask about because it's such a massive release. Armada Deep. you know, Armin van Buuren, of course. Afraid with Versus, another great collaboration here, but we involved a vocalist, Nicola Green. Am I saying that correctly, Nicola?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicola Green, yeah.
Jeez, snapped. Another massive success for you guys in the streaming and beatport world.
Yeah.
How did this one come together? Obviously with Versus, did you guys do this one in person? When did Nicola come into the picture? Give me the full story, because it's one of your guys' best tracks.
I think this one we made the whole arrangement of the track, or at least most of the parts, and then we sent it to Versus, and they said we need a vocalist on it.
Yeah.
To sum this thing up, and they got a friend which is called Nicola Green, asked her to jump on the vocals, and I think she sent us the vocal, or they sent us the vocal, and it took us too long to finish it. Everything fit quite good. We just made a final arrangement, sent it over to them. They did some finalizations, and yeah, the track was done. And I think we sent it out to a couple of labels, and
a couple of labels.
Yeah, a couple of labels.
Yeah. And Armada is one of those. Armada, obviously.
Yeah. I think we didn't even send it to Armada to the demo submission. It was just I think David sent it to one of the A&Rs. Just it wasn't on purpose, I think, or something like that. And they were like, "Oh, this track is nice. We want to sign it." And
right.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
That's really cool.
And I mean, it was certainly more progressive house than tech house. Is that another side of you guys? I mean, I didn't listen to like every single one of your tracks, but has that come out before in the past?
Well, I think that like said before, I think we're striving to incorporate a lot of styles in our music, and like I said, it helps us to stay creative, because when we were trying, we had some time where we like really tried to go for a specific label for like 1 or 2 months, and that really didn't come out very well, even with the tracks that we made. That was what I felt, and it was just like if from different styles that we do, we really try to like change a few things, try something new every now and then, so that we stay on top of our game, if you will, because a key to this is to try out so many different things and combine them in such ways that you feel comfortable with it. And I think that was also the thing that we did with Afraid, is something progressive with a top vocal on it.
Yeah.
And it's a massive label, guys. And of course, again, big stamp of approval there. You know, one thing I think, I also manage some artists here in Chicago, and one thing we always try and think about is your brand, right? The music you're releasing. And there's probably, if you simplify it, 2 perspectives, right? You release music that's within your brand. The other side is you say, fuck it, I'm gonna release whatever I like, whatever I'm feeling, I'm gonna grow as an artist. And we've seen success in both ways, right? You look at somebody like Porter Robinson. You guys know Porter Robinson, right?
Yeah.
He started off making bass house, and now he makes Tokyo house. I don't even know what it is, but it's his own genre. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what it is, but it's good. And you look at someone maybe like Fisher, right? Fisher obviously has his own style of tech house. Look at someone like Chris Lake. I think a lot of people forget Chris Lake, really his first big hit was Boneless with Steve Aoki and Tujambo.
Yeah.
People
which is mainly completely EDM.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So, you know, kind of comparing it to your guys' story here, right? Do you guys ever consider like, oh, this doesn't fit our brand, or I don't know if this makes sense for us? Or do you just say, you know what? I love this song. I love how it came out. Let's put it out there.
Yeah, I think we are on, I think it's hard to say, because
I hit you with another good question. I know.
It's a good question, because we often ask ourselves if we should focus on a certain genre or style or whatever to get a kind of uniqueness, or not uniqueness, but like a signature sound thing, because there are certain artists, like you said, also friends or DJs we know, if they send us promos, it's always, you listen to the track for 10 seconds and you're like, okay, it's his track, 100%.
Exactly.
And we sometimes miss that in our tracks, or we feel like we miss it. But if we show it to friends or whatever, they often tell us that they hear that it's from us, or that it's our sound or whatever, even if it's not the same genre or style or whatever. And I think we should stay with it, or I don't feel like it's bad for our brand or whatever. So, and like Lou said, yeah, we try to be creative, try out new things, and I think there will be more different kind of styles in the future. Or I can imagine that there will come more of these things or whatever. So why not?
Why not? You agree, Lewis?
Yeah, I think we always made tracks that we feel comfortable with, and that we feel strong, that we feel are strong enough to release them. So either way, we always pick the tracks to release which felt best to us. And I really haven't had any track release that I feel like, well, for the time was a bad decision. So even if there's something, even if we maybe bring out a completely mainstream EDM song, it's still something that has to do with it, which came out of our creativity. So why won't I be associated with it? So I really don't feel like limiting ourselves to just one genre for the sake of our brand, if you will, because it always helps to show the people that you're versatile in like the complete spectrum of different genres.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you guys. And what I kind of think about when it comes to anything that I do or that I tell our artists to do, or at least give my advice, as long as it comes from the heart and not for the wrong reason, you know what I mean? Kind of like chasing a trend in music, or a fad, or this will work because that worked. There's not longevity in that. And if you're really doing this for all the right reasons, like I said in the beginning, we're doing it for the love of music. We're doing it for the love of why you do it. And I think that's so important when you continue to release music. And I think showing growth and doing things differently, it makes your fans kind of love you. It also, like, we've seen it backfire on people, like, oh, I missed Dylan Francis. People say, I miss the old Dylan Francis. I hate the new Dylan Francis. It's like, dude, he's doing his thing. Like, give the guy a break, right?
But it's always been that way, I think. It's always been like well-established DJs, which are only doing one specific sound, sooner or later will change what they do, because after a while, if you've seen Guetta, for example, the dubstep guy, who is also doing rap now, which changed his style completely. It's just a matter of time, because after like years of doing the same style of music, you eventually get bored of it, because it's always like the same, if you will. So why not give the artist the room to like be creative and reestablish himself with some new forms?
You said it, and I agree. Love that. So I, of course, got to mention, guys, I'm here in Chicago. Got to give a shout out to Gene Ferris, a huge pioneer here in the scene. Guy still absolutely crushes it. Like, no surprises. And, I've had the pleasure of just kind of being able to live off the fruits of his labor here in Chicago. Like, him and Green Velvet, and of course all the pioneers before him, the Frankie Knuckles, the true warehouse DJs. And it's so cool. I mean, when I talk to guys like you, and I see releases on big Chicago labels, whether it's Relief, whether it's Ferris Wheel, and I just love what they do, because they push the boundaries of their label too. So you guys release EAO, such a Ferris Wheel track. Love it, man. I bet Gene immediately said yes too, because it was like, I heard it and I was like, yeah, this is good. If you heard it right away, because it's an immediate yes, if you ask me.
I think we sent them, I think, 3 tracks, if I remember correctly, and they immediately liked EAO, and then came back like after a week telling, that's a definite yes, we will take this one.
It's awesome, man. I mean, you guys, like, just hearing a track like that too, again, in comparison to some of the other ones you've done, a little more boppy, a little bit more higher energy, certainly maybe left field to what you're doing. Did you guys create that one in any sort of mindset? What was that like in the studio? Because I wanted to mention this track because I do think it is special. I think it's underrated.
Well, I think I think I found this vocal on Splice, and it sounded completely weird, and I cut it even weirder.
There we go.
Just throw a kick underneath it, and thought like, yeah, it's groovy, it's weird, it's groovy. Why not adding some acid bass line? And I think that was basically it. Then I showed it to Luz, and he was like, yeah, it's weird, but it's cool somehow. And yeah, I think we were in a studio, added some drums, some stuff, and breaks and whatever. And it's not the most complex track, but we felt like the elements in it had their own energy and weirdness, and yeah, it's somehow glued together. And
yeah, it just worked.
There was
it just
no deeper
it
meaning.
Was so, okay. It was so weird. It worked. That was the basic essence of the track.
So weird that it worked. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, tech house is weird music, man. It's
definitely.
I think even with Fisher and Chris Lake, for me, they combine like those EDM stuff, bass house kind of styles with tech house. It comes, it's some, how can I say that? It fusions more and more. Can I say it like that?
Fuses,
like
absolutely.
The borders get closer, and so I think the weirdness from the EDM stuff and bass house and the classical tech house beats work together. They showed that it works. So yeah, I think the weirdness is it's not anymore weird. It's cool somehow. It's the people like that stuff. So why not try to edit on a tech house track?
Less is more approach sometimes works the best, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great track.
Yeah.
It's a great track. I love it. That's one of those that, in my eyes, like there are tracks that you release that people share to their Instagram story and tag you. There are tracks that people share or they add to their Spotify playlist, right? There are tracks that people download. And then there are tracks that people do all of those and put it on the USB. And in my eyes, that's the biggest form of flattery, DJ to DJ. When I heard that track, boom, immediate download, put it on the USB, new house heaters playlist.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Perfect, man.
I love that track.
Nice to hear.
Absolutely. So the last one I want to ask you about before we talk about hood politics is your release on Rossum. Shout out to Greco. What an incredible label he's built. Armada Deep. He's even got a new label called Wave Stage. I think he's launching another one too. I mean, the guy is
he's just on something.
He's on
fire. He's just working endlessly with everything.
Yeah, that's working insane. Out too, dude. The guy could fucking the ball in the ring. He's a short little guy too. He could literally fuck us up, dude. I'm telling you.
He's an animal.
That's awesome. I met him actually a few years ago at Movement in Detroit. Such a genuine guy. And we stayed connected ever since. Like I said, I had him on the podcast. We talked about Rossum. We talked about everything I did. An online festival he put together. He's just such a beast. And I think really it says a lot. Obviously, he's not like the world's biggest DJ, but he certainly hustles like it. And the label does really, really well.
His work ethic is insane.
Insane.
It's
kind of a hood politics, right? Like they're both like right there on the cusp of the Solas, the realms, right? But the people that they support, who they have on the team, the music that they release, certainly is world class. And in the Drive EP, I mean, the breaks and builds are really next level, and you smacked that Rossum sound right on the head, man. That massive Greco kick, kind of that boppy beat, but still a very unique level of tech house. I mean, you guys always snap at the bass lines. Was this one of those that kind of came out of a certain influence? Because I do believe Rossum has a certain sound, and that's why he probably created these sub-labels, because Rossum does have a sound. Were you inspired by his music or anybody else at that point?
I don't know. I really felt. I think at that time we were trying to. We were really trying to get that peak time tech house sound going, and that I remember when we finished that track. It was at that time it was my absolute favorite track that we ever produced.
Nice.
Drive was my absolute favorite. I love that track so much because it had such a high energy level throughout, and I loved every part of it. It was just that kind of a track that really got me going every time I heard it. So I knew that we will definitely find a good home for it. And yeah, Rossum just fitted perfectly with the energy, with all the releases. So yeah, that was like a perfect fit from the beginning to get it to Rossum.
It's a great track. That track individually, and I mean, Backwards was like a gut check, boys. Like,
yeah. That was my favorite, to be honest. I think it's still one of my top 3 favorite tracks. I don't know why, but I think it had this special thing to me. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the best produced track or whatever, but if there's a cool idea or certain elements in it which just click, then the song is great. And somehow in Backwards, it was, I think, the synth and with the vocal, I love the idea. I don't know, one of my favorites.
Well said. Yeah, I hadn't heard it since it really originally came out. I always listen to every Rawsome release, and I literally I play the song, and I don't know if you guys ever do. I mean, you probably do as producers and DJs. You're just like, ooh, yeah, that's good. That's what I mean by gut check. It was like fucking Greco was like, hey, Sherm, got a new track. Oh, I was like, warn me if you're gonna hit me with tracks like that, man. Great job. But I wanted to end with this Rossum EP and talk about Hood Politics coming out. Get Stupid EP. I mean, like I said, guys, both you and the label are hitting this incredible crossroads of really right before it all happens. Right before it all happens. Certainly no expert in the game, but I've seen success start low and I've seen it go high, and I think you guys are really, really right there. And you harness the special sound that Hood Politics does. And there's one thing DJ Susan says really well when I interviewed him. I think it was like a 3-hour interview, by the way. Are you surprised? He told me, he was like, I have people send me music all the time.
Yeah.
Songs that they've had in the piggy bank, songs that they just made randomly, a remix here and there. And they're great songs. And, you know, they give awesome feedback, all those sort of things, right? But there's a Hood Politics sound. There is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so special about them is the energy they have, not only of the guys running it, the music they release, but you guys smacked it here. Really, really did.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Get Stupid. I want to talk about this track first because this one has some of those Rossum vibes. The kick and the bass, like. Did I get that right a little bit? I mean, we're kind of in the same arena there a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of power in this one. I want to hear about the lyrics, and I want to hear about how long this one took to make as well.
I think that was right quick to make. I think that was one of those tracks which just like fell into place like in a week or so. That was just like, because sometimes we like have tracks that we work on for like 1 month or like 2 months maybe, and then we have like tracks which are done basically done in like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And I think Get Stupid was just one of those which just like everything fitted perfectly with that one.
Yeah, I think the other track was quite a hustle. It wasn't a hustle, but I think the original track was quite different because we tried to do some kind of lower kind of style bass driven thing, and we weren't that happy with the track, so we kind of changed the whole thing with the acid bass drop. Like sometimes if we were desperate, we were like, okay, we have to try acid always works. And I think it was one of those moments, and it worked so good because the track is a little bit deep, or not deep, but bass driven, and the drop into the acid thing is a complete change of the track. and yeah, I think we loved that. But the other one was really a quick track.
Yeah,
I can almost tell. I can almost tell that track came together quickly. It was weird. It was like I almost had like this the sixth sense. Honestly, it was like they figured out how to make this track really quick, because it just sometimes you can hear in a track there's extra FX. Sometimes it needs a little less, right? And you guys found that common ground. It's like I said, there's a lot of power in it, and power sometimes comes all at once, and it's really a great progression in a song too. So props to you guys there.
Thanks,
thank you.
That one's going to do really well. But I want to talk about the B side, On Track. Dude, this is like so up my alley, and I'm so glad that DJ Susan sent me to download, because I immediately listened and I was about to text. I was like, dude, put these on download, bro. Don't just send me fucking like releases, downloads. That was another one, boys. Immediate add to the playlist. I love this one. I don't mean to give it more energy than the first one, but I just connected with it.
That's good.
Very smooth. I mean, here's what I pictured. Sometimes when you listen to a song, you're like, this would be great to play here, right? You put yourself in a scenario. I'm thinking Carl Cox would probably play this one to let people know he's going to switch up the vibe. Like, we're about to go a little deeper. Kind of that transition track, which are so vital in a DJ's arsenal. The transition tracks, right? Because it's always so hard to switch the mood without taking too many steps, especially in the house range. So you guys really did a great job on this one, just because it plays on a lot of different types of house. Tell me about this one. Where was the inspiration from?
Like I said,
Alexa, like Serene said, I think.
Sorry, I need to do a better job, I guess.
I think like Serene said, we had a few struggles with that one, because we tried out different things with it. Because first we just had like the basic version, and then we felt like it lacked a bit of energy, and then we, as we commonly do, tried to incorporate some acid, and it just also just fell in place with the drop. So but I think we hadn't had any specific inspiration for that one, I think. Or did you, Zareen?
I think we tried around with bass lines, and I think we tried around with different synth plugins, and I think we tried to do like those kind of stereo spreaded bass lines, like with the sub still in mono, but the upper frequencies like on the sides, and do some weird things. And it was cool. It was a cool pattern with which the one we started with, and but it was boring a little bit. So we tried different things, and I think the one with the acid was the best one, and it gave us the needed energy we were looking for. And so this kind of combination of like a chilled start and then this crazy acid whatever break drop was the goal.
When did you guys actually finish these tracks? Was it in the past 6 months?
It was definitely, I think that was mid last year. I think something around that. I mean, so it's
you guys, like the qualities of these tracks. Obviously, you guys all have this. You guys have a certain threshold of quality of mixing, mastering, layering, everything. I don't know what you did in this one, but it's really, really good, guys. Just really high quality house music. So I just want to it's just awesome to see. Again, I just want to just put you guys on a pedestal, you and Hood Politics. Like this, such fucking good timing. We've got an optimistic outlook on the rest of the year. You know, it's like a special time to still be pushing forward at this, right? So props to you guys. How does it feel to be part of the Hood Politics family then?
Yeah, really
cool.
Really good.
Yeah.
Insane artist, man. And DJ Susan is a crazy guy. Love him.
Definitely. He's such a character. I really like him.
You guys are in good company, man. You guys are.
Thank you.
I'm like a proud father right now. Don't I look like one? My boys are growing up. Dissolut, Hood Politics, everybody, man.
Yeah, man, it's a really good combination. I feel like that's a really cool release, and I'm really glad that we could work together with Hood Politics on that one. That's really, really cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's gonna do well, guys. Is there anything you can tell us about what's coming for the rest of this year? Obviously, more music. What can you tell us? You told me Realm a little bit earlier. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it too loud.
Well, we're working on a lot of different projects at the moment. We got a lot of new ideas, and we actually have a few more releases scheduled for this year on some labels. Yeah, also collabs with Ghetto Blaster, with the Ghetto Blaster boys.
Let's go! Yeah. I'm having them on the show like in fucking 2 weeks. Hell yeah!
Really? Cool. Yeah.
Intro boys, dude. Those guys are awesome.
That's cool.
And
shout out to the guys.
Shout out to the guys. So we have a few things locked in for this year. A few releases. I think even a release in September this year. So we're stacking up.
Keep going.
Yeah.
What's it like right now? Where you're at with COVID and stuff? Is restaurants open? Like, is it? No.
Nothing is open.
Lockdown,
yeah. So we'll be in lockdown until mid-March. With
even longer.
Nothing open. Yeah, probably even longer.
Even longer.
Gosh,
yeah.
Guys. It's not that much better here.
Yeah.
Well, but we got enough time for the studio. So, well, we both go to university, so we're pretty occupied, but we don't have any excuses to go to parties or get drunk or whatever. So we have to go to the studio and get drunk in the studio, of course, but at least we're doing beats while getting drunk.
Guys, we don't have to do interviews. I'll just sit here. Maybe we'll get DJ on the next one, and we'll all have a few beats. How about that?
Definitely.
A couple of house DJs talking shop, talking about the good old days as if we already retired. Remember that show? Remember that release?
That sounds cool, yeah.
This has been so much fun, guys. Again, I want to give you a massive shout out for all your success so far. Everybody's got to check out the Get Stupid EP on Hood Politics. These are my boys Dissolut right here. Cheers to you guys one more time, man.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Cheers to you, and thank you for having us. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I'll be talking to you guys again soon.
That sounds great, man.
100%.
And I do accept, unreleased music, no problem. You guys already got tracks on USB.
Of course.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Of course.
We'll send you a care package.
Hell yeah, guys. Well, you have a good one. Have a good night. Stay safe out there, and congratulations again on this massive EP. We're looking forward to a big 2021 for you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
You too.
All right, guys. Peace. Have a good one.
Bye.
Peace.